Welcome, everyone, amazing human beings, community members, and residents to the AAPI community event. And today is our Chinese session, which we are going to be honoring the amazing diaspora that exists within the Chinese community and how it contributes to the collective culture of Howard County. And so today, the intention is not only for us to share our culture, but to also learn from each other's culture. In particular, this month is Asian American Pacific Islander Month. And so, with that being said, it's very important that we make sure that we honor all of the collective cultures that exist within that and not necessarily look at it as a monolith. And so, with the intention of doing that, we wanted to make sure that we created a series of events that would allow all of the different aspects of Howard County's AAPI community to showcase their amazing aspects that they give to our community. And so we definitely don't have every single culture, and we aim to make sure that we continue to propel and continue to do this in a way that is going to allow that to happen. But imagine this as a start, essentially, for us to continually dive into the diversity that exists within Howard County and making sure that we're honoring our collective humanity. And so with that being said, you're not going to see a lot of me. I'm going to fade into the background. I'm going to be kind of doing more of the technology things. But I do want to give us a message from the county executive, as well as on behalf of the Office of Human Rights and Equity, which I myself work for as the community outreach supervisor. So if you could bear with me, I'm going to screen share that message. And then after that, we are going to get started with our program. Thank you.
Of Asian American and Pacific Islander Month, I would like to welcome you to the Office of Human Rights and Equity's AAPI Heritage Month celebration. During the last year, AAPI communities have endured an increase of violence, hate speech, and persecution due to fear, ignorance, and a lack of genuine connection and understanding. We have a responsibility to ensure that all of our residents are and feel safe, respected, and treated with dignity that we all deserve. This month and beyond, we reflect upon the historic and current contributions of our AAPI brothers and sisters. This event will provide entertainment, education, and a genuine way for us to learn more about our AAPI community. Participating in this event are community members and organizations that have a desire to share a piece of their culture to enrich our collective culture. Please join us as we continue to grow, learn, laugh, work, and play as a unified community. Thank you.
All right, so again, that was our county executive essentially giving us an amazing message for us to understand not only how this event is contributing to the texture of our community, but also how it contributes to a series of events where we're trying to do the same thing. And so at this time, I'm going to fade into the background and I'm going to let our amazing presenters take the floor. Presenters, just be mindful if there's anything that you'd want me to know in the background, you can message me on the side. And remember that I am going to be queuing up the videos for you. So I will be cutting my mic off and cutting my video off, and we can begin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Liu, and I'll be hosting or emceeing this event for tonight. What Mr. Hall said was very accurate, very well spoken. So I'd like to start off by saying that this event, the Chinese session, was co-organized by the Howard County Office of Human Rights and Equity, as well as the Chinese American Parents Association and the Peiying Chinese School. Our theme for this month is Stop Asian Hate. Because of these events, Over the past year, we seek to approach it with solidarity, with community, and with celebration. Um, and next, we'll be having Maryland State Senator Katie Fry Hester to make some opening remarks.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Wonderful. Well, I'd like to start by echoing my thanks to CAPA, the Chinese School, and the county's Office of Human Rights, and everybody who helped make this amazing event possible tonight. This month, we recognize the incredible contributions that our Asian American and Pacific American community members have made to the United States, as well as their rich heritage. And whether it's looking back to the building of the Transcontinental Railroad, or advocating for labor law improvements, or fighting to defend freedom itself, our AAPI community members have played a vital role in shaping this nation. But we don't have to look beyond Howard County and the state of Maryland to see the impacts of our AAPI community. And I'm proud today that we celebrate the more than 400,000 AAPI community members throughout the state. And I've watched over the past few years, time and time again, as they have stood up and given back to this community. I think the pandemic was a perfect example where we really saw the contribution to the community in action. In the very early days of the pandemic, many of the organizations hosting this event, as those while participating, they sprang into action, raising money and donating masks and PPE. And as our students, faced difficulty learning from home, they acted quickly to develop and stand up one of the first student-led tutoring programs. They've also worked tirelessly to make sure that our neighbors have enough to eat, donating food banks, and even coming out on Saturday mornings to help pick potatoes with me from a local farm. Unfortunately, at the same time, even here at home, our AAPI community has continued to face adversity. The COVID-19 pandemic promulgated this fear and hate in our community, particularly towards the AAPI community. And we've seen vandalism and harassment towards Asian-owned businesses. We've seen acts of violence committed across the county, not least of which was not least which was the deadly shooting in Atlanta in March, which I was honored to join many of you, along with Delegate Watson, in rallies to help raise awareness. So today, I'm here not only to celebrate in all the cultural and festivities that we will be hearing from, but also to stand in solidarity with this community and condemn prejudice in any and all forms it may take. The racism and hatred towards our AAPI neighbors cannot and will not be tolerated. When we see hate, I think we need to be called to action to stop it in its tracks. And that's why I would strongly encourage any of our community members who may be a victim or witness hate crime to utilize the state's hate crime hotline, 866-481-8361. And I'll put that in the chat box later. But we still must do more. And at the state level, I'm proud to work with incredible colleagues like Senator Susan Lee and Delegate Mark Chang to make significant progress in this area. Last session, the General Assembly passed legislation to make it easier to bring hate crime charges against an individual for an act that is clearly motivated by hate and bias. We also required police officers throughout the state to receive training and have a specialized and in-depth understanding of our criminal hate crime statute. And this year, we passed legislation requiring the University System of Maryland to manage the development of an anti-bias education program. And we gave our judges the ability to make completion of an anti-bias education program part of the sentence for an individual convicted of a hate crime. I'm also happy to say that the Governor Hogan has recently appointed former U.S. Attorney Robert Hur to chair a state work group on anti-Asian hate crimes. Now, I'm confident that this group will work hard to develop recommendations that can make a practical difference in the lives of our AAPI community members across the state of Maryland. No member of our community should have to live in fear or concern for the hate they may face in Maryland. And I'm glad to say that we at the General Assembly are cognizant of the concerns that are out there, and we are united in standing against hate and making sure our AAPI community members know that they are safe and have a home here in Maryland. I want to thank you again for letting me join you today. I'm excited to learn more from you and with you, and I'm thankful for you, not only this month, but every day, because it just wouldn't be Maryland without you here. So thank you for all your contributions. Thank you for having me today. And I look forward to a wonderful evening of performances.
Thank you for your remarks. And next up, we'll have Dr. Chao Wuchao, the chair of the Howard County Board of Education, to give a few words.
Thank you, Alexander. And thank you very much for the organizations like COPA of Howard County, Peiying Chinese School, Howard County Office of Human Rights and Equity for hosting this event and inviting me to speak. I'm Dr. Chao Wu, Chair of Howard County Board of Education. This past year has been a huge challenge for our residents in Howard County, for the residents in the United States of America, and across the whole world because of the COVID-19 pandemic. It is a challenge for the Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders' human rights. They have been openly discriminated, violently attacked on the street, in their homes, on the internet, or in the political arena. However, even with those challenges, we, our AAPI community, are facing. We have been taking up the challenge, helping the community who are in need, work in the medical field, at the front line, in the education area, in the volunteer groups in the community. We not only think about ourselves, but care about everyone in our neighborhoods. We are proud of our heritage and contribution to the community. At the same time, let's think about we will continue to fight for the dignity, the human rights, and the inclusiveness of all Americans. We will lead with example and pray for peace and prosperity. No scapegoat, no hate. Let's get involved and be courageous. Together, we'll be stronger. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chao Wu. And finally, we'll have Mingzhu Du Ming, the board chair of the Chinese American Parents Association of Howard County, to give his remarks.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the AAPI Month Chinese Culture Session, telling you a story about an ancient civilization that has existed for thousands of years. So first of all, many thanks to County Office of Human Rights and Equity and Mr. Chen Hall for facilitating this platform to showcase our culture. We hope that through storytelling, people can get to know Chinese culture better and get to know us, Chinese Americans living in Howard County better. So thinking about the civilizations in the world, I put myself in the shoes of our ancestors. I think they all started by they open up their mind and starting to listen. Some heard the voice of gods, and some heard callings from the circle of life, and we Chinese heard the nature's whisper, like a single drop of water falling into a pond, the wind beating the pines, the river flowing eastward into eternity, and two opposite forces, yin and yang, balancing each other and controlling almost everything on earth. We made our music encompassing the nature. We allow our body to flow with the mysterious force of yin and yang. By the way, that's thousands years before the Hollywood found midichlorian in another galaxy. So we even encapsulated nature in our language, the logographic language used by over 1.4 billion people in the world today. For example, my name, if written in ancient Chinese form, which is not too far from the modern form, you can tell actually it represents a tree and a pile of earth, the sun, and the moon. So it is this learning from and the feeling of nature that flows in our blood, even today. So there's always more meets our eyes and ears. I hope that the stories from tonight's performing groups will make you understanding Chinese culture better. It's the handshake before a long journey of building mutual understanding with all people from all ethnic backgrounds. We used to passively waiting for people to approach us and our culture, which didn't work quite well. So this time we want to bring the story to you, and we hope you enjoy it. Thank you, Alex. Back to you.
Thank you, Mingzhu. And thanks once again to Senator Katie Frye Hester and Dr. Chao Wu for their statements. Next up, we'll be having Alex Lim to speak on their performance, the lion dance from the Zhoujia or Jiaga martial arts. Mr. Lim, if you could speak on that.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me and inviting our school. We are a local, all-volunteer traditional Chinese martial arts school. We teach traditional Kung Fu, Tai Chi, and lion dancing. We are very proud that our school is multicultural. We have students from different races, different backgrounds, different religions, and we all train and study together as a family. And on weekends, we also celebrate as a family. Oftentimes, especially when the weather, this is before COVID, of course, before the, when the weather gets warm and nice, we do bring out the grill, and people, all our students from different backgrounds, different families, bring their special dishes. We have a barbecue outside, the children play, and through teaching our Kung Fu and lion dance and sharing, we hope to set an example that people of all races, all religions can live together in harmony and peace and actually live together as friends and family. So we are very proud. We did a line dance on video for everyone to enjoy, and we hope this will help bring our community together, help educate, everyone who possibly don't know much about other cultures. And through sharing, we hope we can stop hate and live together in harmony. Thank you very much, and enjoy the line dance.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex, and I represent the U.S. Jiaga martial arts. And you're gonna be seeing a lion dance coming up after my talk. I just want to introduce you to the traditional Chinese lion and give you a little bit of history where lion dance comes from and what we use it for. I think it's easiest if I tell you what we use it for. This is a lion made out of paper mache and various materials, as you can see. The lion, basically what we use a lion dance for with music. You'll see we have some musical instrument, drums over there. We use it for Chinese New Year, for celebrations, for business openings, for weddings. Weddings are very popular. We have a very special lion dance for weddings, and we also have a special lion dance for birthdays. And among other celebrations, we do lion dances at Christmas parties and many other different types of celebration. The Western world, America and Canada and a lot of Western countries are now getting to be familiar with the lion dance, and they like to use it for celebrations as well. So let me tell you a little bit of history. This probably is a myth or a legend, but where the lion came from is they said an emperor from long time ago had a really bad dream, and he was being chased by some monsters or something, and in his dream there was this mystical creature which he thought was a lion, and because in China there are no lions. There are tigers in China, but there are no lions in China. So he thought it was a lion. The lion came out of the blue and chased all the monsters away that were chasing him. So Emperor woke up and, called his consort, his advisors and everything, and said, hey, I had this dream and I was being chased and attacked, and this creature, this animal came out and saved me. And he described the animal. So all his advisors are kind of rubbing their chin, and basically they said, that sounds like a lion. We don't have it here, but in other lands, they have lions. So the emperor told his advisors that he wanted a lion made in the image of that creature that saved him in his dream, and to be used as a celebration for Chinese New Year's every year, and to honor the creature that saved him in his dream. Now, you're going to be seeing a video clip of our students here performing a lion dance for you. Normally, we would do this live, and of course, because of COVID, we videotaped it for your benefit, so everybody will be able to see this on the WebEx, and you'll see the lion dances. Traditionally, we also would use firecrackers in the beginning. And of course, in here, we can't do that. So, you'll be seeing pretty much as close as authentic as possible without some of the things like firecrackers. So I hope you guys enjoy it. We are here with me this opportunities. Enjoy the lion dance, enjoy the video. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex Lim, the Jaga martial arts, for that amazing lion dance. Next up, we'll be having Professor Min Wu from the Jasmine Guzheng Academy to speak on their program. Professor Min Wu, if you could give your statement.
Yes, thank you very much, Alex. Good evening, everyone. My name is Min Wu. I'm an engineering professor, and my husband and I have two school-age children in the county. I grew up in China and came to the United States after college to pursue my graduate study. Through education and research, I have seen firsthand how the openness and respect for people from different culture and background has given Americans unparalleled edge to attract talents and foster new ways of thinking and innovation. Our AAPI community as a whole has contributed significantly to American prosperity. No matter what language we speak and where our ancestors were from, music has been a common language to allow us to share and appreciate a different culture and also share and appreciate each other. Although growing up in China, I was very familiar with the tunes of traditional Chinese music, I had not had the chance to touch guzheng, traditional Chinese music instrument, while I was in China. Thanks to the founding director, Ms. Ru Huang of the Peiying Chinese School, guzheng group lessons was added as electives for both young students and adults. I could not resist its captivating sound when I passed by the classroom as the instructor, Ms. Lily Zhang, played with ease and grace. So I became one of the several adult students. My son Max, who started learning piano at the time, became so interested in seeing my learning guzheng that he asked us to let him to learn guzheng as well. As he put, I was inspired by my mom to learn guzheng and to learn Chinese music. It turned out that his piano training was very helpful for him to learn guzheng. This really shows the Eastern and Western culture has so much in common and can help each other to enhance and enrich. So Max and his guzheng friends later played guzheng as a part of the ensemble performances in the county's Lunar New Year celebration in the Columbia Mall. His piano teacher, Mr. Douglas Giles, and his colleagues in the Greater Laurel Music Teaching Association has encouraged Max to add guzheng solo performances in addition to piano performance to this association's annual music festival. The theme of this local festival in recent years has been looking east, so very broad, and celebrating women composer. And this year, the theme was America as a cultural melting pot. So next, you will hear Max introducing guzheng and also play a piece from this year's festival. So Trent will help us to bring the recorded one.
Hi, I am Max from Clarksville Middle School. In front of me is a guzheng, which is a traditional Chinese music instrument. We can trace its origin to more than 2,500 years ago. Guzheng looks like a horizontal harp. The guzheng I'm playing has 21 strings, with a bridge for each string. Guzheng can make the sound of do, re, mi, so, and la. For fa and ti, I'll use my left hand to bend the string. Using different techniques, I can play it to mimic many things. Today I'll play the Dongting song. Lake Dongting is in central China along the Yangtze River. This guzheng music was adapted from a folk song. It pictures the gentle waves, abundant fish, and people enjoying the scenery and a good harvest.
Speaking of Ms. Lily Zhang, she is a founder and the director of the Jasmine Guzheng Academy in the Greater Washington, D.C. She's a professional Guzheng performing artist. After she graduated from the now Nanjing University of the Arts, Lily has been a professional Guzheng instructor for more than 20 years. Her students often play in various performances in the Greater Washington, Baltimore regions, as well as the surrounding states, including performances at the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts, Strathmore Concert Hall, the Library of Congress, and the Princeton University Concert Hall. The students have won many awards in competitions, including the first prizes of various age groups in the Princeton Guzheng competitions. What makes Lily unique is her effort in bringing cultural exposure and appreciation of the traditional music to K-12 schools. Lily was invited to teach group lessons in the elementary schools in the DC area. Her students, including boys and girls of different races and ethnicities. From these pictures, you can see the curiosities and enjoyment of her young students and their parents. Lily also encouraged and helped arrange the more experienced students, including my son Max, to perform in the senior centers. She wants to nurture a young generation of volunteers to bring the beautiful sound of this traditional instrument to brighten the day of the seniors. Understanding other people's world and the culture is one of the essential steps to restore bias and promote peace. Let the sound of Guzheng help us build more bridges for our communities and people. The name of the song to be played next is a Grassland Pastoral. The music was influenced by the folk songs of the Inner Mongolia. The tune, accompanied by lively rhythm, pictures the scenery of the Mongolian plateau and the vibrant life of the hard-working people on the pasture.
Thank you to Max and the other members of the Jasmine Guggenheim Academy for their very wonderful performance as shown in the video. Next up, we'll be having a video entry into the CAPA AAPI virtual contest. This is from Violet Yang, a Clarksville Elementary School student. Oh, I should mention that it's just the video. There's no one speaking on it. The video's contents concern the prevalence and the history of Asians in Hollywood.
Whether it be undermining the talent of Asian actors or portraying inaccurate representation of the Asian communities in film, Asians have held a strange spot in Hollywood. Although on the surface, there seems to be more and more Asian representation in film, the American film industry is concealed with unfair treatment and discrimination towards Asians. Born in Los Angeles, Anna May Wong was the first Chinese American in Hollywood. One of her most recognizable roles is in The Toll of the Sea. She was greatly underestimated because of being Asian. Anna May Wong broke two barriers at once. One, by being the first Chinese American in Hollywood, and two, by being the first female Chinese American. America still bullied her, though. She never got any leading roles, only acting as supporting characters such as thieves or call girls. Born in China, Joanne Chen got into the film industry very early in her life and became very famous in China. When she moved to America, though, she barely got any roles even though acting was her major in America. The best role she got in America was in the film The Last Emperor, where she played the Empress Wan Rong, and in total only got about 20 minutes of screen time. She was really talented and hardworking, though, so her movie won an Oscar through this role. But even after winning an Oscar, she didn't have many good characters to perform as. There are just too few stages for an Asian actress. Things are getting worse for Asian actors. Once, Jet Li, a former national kung fu champion and movie star in China, received an important martial arts role in America. At first, he was promised $100,000 for his role, but his payment was cut down to only $50,000 after the producer saw that he was an Asian. American actors of the same skill level usually get paid around $150,000. That's what I call discrimination. We are seeing more Asian representation in films in recent years. For example, Disney's Mulan, which is about the Chinese legend Mulan, was very successful in the box office. The lead actress is Chinese-American actress Crystal Liu. Another example is my favorite cartoon, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Avatar is about the fictional history of the Four Nations and the 100-Year War. In Avatar, the Water Tribes represent the overall indigenous peoples of Asia, the Earth Kingdom represents China, the Fire Nation represents Japan, and the Air Nomads represent Buddhist monks. These are good improvements on representing Asian culture, but they all only focus on the martial arts. Asian culture includes many aspects including religion, art, literature, music, philosophy, politics, and lifestyle, not just martial arts. One of the best improvements yet is in the ABC show Fresh Off the Boat. It depicts the daily lives of Chinese American immigrant families. The eldest son, Eddie, gets bullied in school for being Asian. This is a very good example because it shows how Asians are being discriminated against, and it outlines how hard it is to be in a middle-class Chinese American family. The American film industry should make a greater effort to keep up with adding Asian culture into film, use more Asian actors, and properly treat the Asian actors. Although there have been some improvements, there is a lot of more room, and hopefully these improvements will continue.
Thank you for that very insightful video. Next up, we will have Mr. Zhelong Liu from the Centennial Taiji Club. Or, yes. I believe it is also just a video.
Gotcha. Give me 1 second.
Thanks again to the Centennial Taiji Club for a great demonstration of traditional Chinese Taiji. Before our next programs, next up we'll have a few words from Dr. Yunlu, a member of the Howard County Board of Ed.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I first want to thank Chinese American Parent Association of Howard County, Peiying Chinese School, Howard County Office of Human Rights and Equity, and all the participating organizations for putting together this wonderful performance to celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. This is Dr. Yun Lu, Howard County Board of Education member. There are about 60,000 AAPI community members living in Howard County, and more than 13,000 AAPI students in Howard County public school system. AAPI students are one of the fastest growing segments of our school system population. AAPI heritage is integral to our nation's fabric. Contributions of AAPI communities are woven into the building of our country from the Transcontinental Railroad. AAPIs have helped to shape our country through their knowledge, professional contributions, and advocacy. AAPIs are essential to the continued well-being of our nation and our community. It is important to teach our children the contributions and struggles of AAPI communities, both from historic and current perspective, so all students see themselves in the curriculum and activity and value the rich diversity of our nation. Thank you again for putting together this performance and celebrate AAPI Heritage Month. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yunlu. And next up, we will be having another entry into the CAPA's AAPI virtual contest. This is a watercolor painting done by a Folly Quarter Middle School student, Matthew Wu. The content of this artwork sort of represent the how it is being an Asian American, Chinese American, as the amalgamation of cultures that sort of that comes with being Asian born and yet living in the U.S. And Mr. Hall will play the video now.
I'm Matthew Wu from Folly Middle School. I was born in the U.S. and my parents are originally from China. So since I was born, I live in a multicultural environment. On one hand, I enjoy the surprise and excitement these two very different cultures bring to me on a daily basis. However, the idea of the foreign other is also woven into my life in a variety of ways. I heard a lot of anti-Asian stories through my social media, and some people I know, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, the situation gets worse. Hate against AAPI communities has risen dramatically. I wonder if we can do all we can to stop it in its tracks. I strongly believe AAPI Month isn't just for ceremony. It's also the time to learn about the history of these different cultures from people of diversified backgrounds so that we know each other better. However, I don't see my school resource or topic introducing contribution or achievement history about Asian and Pacific Islanders. That's why I did this painting to try to arouse people's attention. This painting represents the culture and diversity of the Chinese American community and how the food and culture of different countries has changed over time. It has influenced and impacted each other. You can see this half is covered by hot pot and dumplings. They represent one of the most popular Chinese food, while the other half are full of hamburgers, soda, and fries. These are our most iconic American food. Chopsticks and forks are from these two ethnic groups, representing utensils they use due to totally different eating habits. I think food is an important part of daily life for all of us. I use food culture to reflect the culture of these two large groups of people and put them together to hint that although we can be different in certain ways, we can still develop unity, community, and solidarity. I just want everyone to know that showing the important contributions AAPI has made to the U.S. are especially important because some people have falsely blamed Asian Americans for the spread of coronavirus. I believe no matter what cultural background we come from, we can eliminate misunderstandings and barriers through mutual understanding. Even in the face of prejudice and racism, it's still absolutely essential to recognize one's inherent value and celebrate one's true identity. As compromising on those things. Only love, acceptance, and respect can bring harmony and closeness to our relationship. We are only as strong as we are united, as weak as we are divided. I have a dream that we will one day live in a nation where we will not be judged by race, but by the content of our character. I hope that one day Asian hate will stop across the UN. I hope that someday we can proudly say that we are American.
Very moving words from Matthew. Next up, we will be having a traditional Chinese dance, the Little Blue Dragon, as performed by Olivia Wu from the Peiying Chinese School.
The dance Blue Dragonfly vividly depicts the beauty and grace of the dragonfly. The dance reflects classical Chinese dance technique and philosophy, which emphasize circling, twisting, leaning, and bending of the body, as well as precise hand and eye movements. Please enjoy Blue Dragonfly. What a beautiful performance by Olivia. Next up, for our next program, we'll be having a violin concerto, The Butterfly Lovers, performed by Wei Ming Li from the Peiying Chinese School.
My name is Wei Ming Li. I will play a solo violin piece adapted from the Butterfly Lovers Violin Concerto, which is one of the most famous Chinese works based on folk music. It was written by two Chinese composers, He Jianhao and Chen Gang. Butterfly Lovers is an adaptation of an ancient legend, a tragic love story of Liang Shanbo and Zhu Yingtai. In the story, Zhu was the only daughter of a wealthy family. Against the norm, Zhu attended school in disguise as a man, where she met Liang. They studied together for 3 years, and Zhu fell in love with Liang. But Liang didn't know that Zhu was a woman. When she returned home, Liang visited Zhu and discovered her identity. They became devoted to each other and vowed to be together till death do us apart. However, Zhu's parents had already arranged for her to marry a wealthy man. Liang was heartbroken and died soon after. On the day of the wedding, Zhu visited Liang's grave to pay her respects. She begged for the grave to open. Suddenly, it opened with a clap of thunder. Without hesitation, Zhu threw herself into the grave to join Liang. Their spirits emerged as a pair of butterflies and flew away, never to be separated again.
Thank you once again to Wei Mingli for his performance. The Butterfly Lovers, which this concerto took inspiration from, is known as one of the four great folk tales of China. And it's great seeing it be the inspiration and be interpreted in a more modern context. Next up will be a traditional Chinese dance, or Wish Upon the Moon, from the Gina Ling Chinese Dance Chamber.
I'm a fourth grader in CES. I've been realizing that Asian hate is getting more and more common these days. I had a bad experience myself. During our virtual class in school one day, the teacher asked us to see if we could help her figure out which two students were missing in the virtual classroom. When I tried to explain that a certain student is no longer in our class, I was responded by a classmate saying, "It's none of your stupid Asian business, Violet. I am not stupid, and we are all humans that deserve to be treated the same way."
Hello, my name is Christina. I am 14 years old. I was born in China and lived my whole life in the United States. I am proud of my Chinese culture and that I have the opportunity to express it through Chinese dance. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Asians have been facing a lot of hate and discrimination. Here's my story. It was March 12, 2020, the day before we were sent home from school due to the COVID lockdown. I was walking to my bus at the end of the day along with hundreds of other students when someone shouted out their bus window to me, "You're the descendant of the coronavirus. Go back to China." At first I was confused because I thought they were talking to someone else. Then I realized they were talking to me. It all happened so fast, I didn't really feel upset at first. As the day went on, I felt hurt and angry. Hurt that someone said something I had no control over, and angry that someone made assumptions about me without even knowing me or knowing anything about me. As a Chinese American, I am proud of both my Chinese heritage and American citizenship. These comments made me feel stronger than ever, that we cannot live in fear, that discrimination must not be tolerated, and we must use our voices and actions to speak out against racism and racial profiling.
Hello, my name is Ellie Cheek, and I'm currently a fifth grader at Manor Woods Elementary School. I've been with Gina Ling Chinese Dance Chamber since I was 8 years old. I like dance because it is not only beautiful, but it also has taught me a lot about Chinese culture. I learned about Chinese opera through water slide dance. In Dai dance, I learned that there are more than 50 ethnic groups in China, including Dai. I am proud of my Chinese heritage. I'm also proud of being an American. No matter where people live and how different they look, I think we should all be equally treated. Thank you. 谢谢大家.
Hello, my name is Emily, and today I'm here to share my story. I am an ABC American-born Chinese, and I'm proud to say that. The first quarter of 2021, Asian hate crimes have increased by 164%. Hate crimes as in racism, beating, tormenting, Asian slurs, and even murder. That is crazy. I personally have not dealt with that many experiences, but there was this one instance last year where I experienced something similar. So at school, you can choose between 3 languages to learn: Spanish, French, or Chinese. There was this group of boys who were like, "Oh, who wants to learn ching chong ching chong? It's so stupid." So me being Chinese, this made me very furious and even insecure about my own heritage, which I shouldn't because my culture is so beautiful. For example, there are a variety of different delicious foods, holidays, traditions, dances, and so much more. 谢谢.
Hello, my name is Jessica Lee, and I am a 6th grader at Bolingbrook Middle School. I've been doing Chinese dance for about 3 years now, and I am doing it with Gina Ling Chinese Dance Chamber. Dance is a way that I can express my emotions and thoughts through these beautiful movements. Chinese dance is a big part of the Chinese culture. During the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of Asians and Chinese people have been discriminated against because of their country of origin. This needs to stop. No one should ever be judged by the color of their skin. We should all treat each other's cultures with respect.
Hello everyone, my name is Catherine Zane. I'm 13 years old, attending Ellicott Mills Middle School in Maryland. Like many of my other peers and I, we've been exposed to racism since childhood. During elementary school, I've been called names like Ching Chong, Ling Ling, and Dog Eater. All these things greatly affected my mindset and made me feel ashamed of my culture and identity as a Chinese American citizen. Many of my other Asian friends have also told me their experiences with racism against them. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Asian community has endured several amounts of hate crimes due to the xenophobia in relation with the virus. Due to the fact that the virus developed in Wuhan, China, Chinese people have been blamed for this virus in the US. During this situation, I wanted to bring awareness to the hate crimes occurring in the US. We as people have to do our part in stopping this racism together.
Hello, my name is Helen Lu, and this is my speech. We, the citizens of America, deserve to be treated equally. No matter where we were born or where our family were born, we Asian Americans deserve to be treated the same as Americans. We are the same, with the only difference being our Asian American blood. Many people judge us by stereotypes, but not all are true to us. We hope that one day Americans will see Asian Americans as equals and will no longer be judged by stereotypes.
All in all, this ends now. It is time to let Asian Americans live their lives freely without a worry in the world. We are proud of where we come from. We are proud of our culture, our heritage, and our ancestors, and nothing will ever change that. Now let's work together to officially put this to an end, to stop all AAPI hate. Let us stand up to discrimination and build a new world of happiness and equality. My name is Olivia Wu, and I'm a 6th grader at Mount View Middle School. My fellow dancers and I are all Asian Americans, and we've grown up in the United States. Today, we would like to showcase our culture to you in the form of traditional Chinese dance. Gina Ling Chinese Dance Chamber presents Wishing Upon the Moon. Wishing Upon the Moon adopts a Chinese Cantonese folk dance. The theme is based on a custom of worshipping the moon goddess that is practiced in the Chaoshan region. The round hand drums held by the dancers represent the moon, and the dance expresses their feeling of pride for their cultural roots and heritage. Please enjoy Wishing Upon the Moon.
Thank you once again for that amazing performance from all those members from the Gina Ling Dance Chamber. It was quite saddening hearing about their experiences with prejudice against Asian Americans that has been cropping up so much more recently, but it's nice knowing that they were courageous enough and willing enough to share about their experiences. For our next program, we have a choral piece called Friendship Forever, performed by the Washington Yangtze River Chorus, first with a few words from their chorus director, Dr. Kevin Zhang.
Thank you, Alex. Good evening, friends of the AAPI community. On behalf of the Washington Yangtze River Chorus, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the organizers, CAPA, Howard County, Paying Chinese School, and Howard County Office of Human Rights and Equity for inviting us to today's special celebration of the AAPI Heritage Month. Truly a time for us as Asian Americans to share and celebrate cultural heritage and contributions, to appreciate the American history that is only enriched by the AAPI heritage. And to me, it is through that historic angle we see not only culture, but also a diverse perspective and the numerous contributions that AAPI have brought to the society, have made this great country even greater. It is also in that spirit, I believe, the racial hatred and hostility we have all witnessed against AAPI, particularly against Chinese American community in recent history, is totally unacceptable, and we must stand up to stop it. The Washington Yangtze River Chorus is a grassroots organization established in 2017 to promote cultural exchange and enrich community life for all of its members. With the wide support from we have received from the Chinese American community, particularly, primarily in Howard County, we have actively participated in musical learning and performance opportunities throughout our short history. Today, I'm glad to bring to our audience a classic American song, Old Lang Syne, or Friendship Forever in Chinese translation, as our way to express solidarity and promote love and friendship against hatred and hostility. And this song, written originally by Scottish poet Robert Burns in 1788, based on a Scottish folk song. It has become a tradition, American tradition, to say goodbye when a year passed by. But this Chinese translation, which you are about to hear, is really have taken this song to a much wider meaning and become a symbol of friendship. So please listen on and feel free to sing along because it's so familiar to most of us. Alongside, 友谊地久天长. Thank you.
Thank you once again to the Washington Yangtze River Chorus and Dr. Kevin Zhang. Finally, we'll have our closing remarks from Ms. Jin Xu, the founding president of Kappa HC.
Thank you, Alex. $100, 2 suitcases, the American dream. These were all that I came to this country with. On my first night here, I slept in the airport with nowhere else to go. From there on, it was an uphill battle, fighting to work and study in a foreign language and to understand the culture of a brand new country. Standing here now, 30 years later, I can proudly proclaim that I have achieved my American dream. I've built my life here, I've raised my family here, and I have a place called home here. The land of opportunity has embraced me as one of its own, and for that, I'm both thankful and humbled. In these past 30 years, I've had the firm belief that I'm just like the rest of my countrymen. I'm just as American. Even if there are others who insist I'm not, even now, my belief is unwavering. However, this past year has made it clear that just simply believing this is not enough. No matter how strongly I believe that I'm American, that every member of the Asian American community is, as the name suggests, American, it is not enough to keep myself or my family or my community safe. The biggest issue that we face is not that people are against us, but rather that we simply do not exist to them. Our issues go undiscussed, our experience go unnoticed, and our stories go unheard. This past year has made it clearer than ever to me that we as a community need to organize to speak up and share our experiences. I'm grateful that the help others have extended to us and the solidarity they have shown us. But my fellow Asian Americans, our story are for us to tell. The years we have spent in this country belong to us alone. And we alone are the ones capable of sharing it with the world. And share it we must. Because Asian American stories are American stories. Asian American history is American history. And it's time that the people knew. So come with me and let's share our stories together and raise awareness for the contributions our communities has made and the discrimination our community has faced in this country we all call home. Thank you to all the speakers and the performers for coming here tonight. You have truly made it unforgettable. Thank you to the Human Rights Office for support of the AAPI community. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Xu. And that about concludes this session for tonight. So thank you to everyone for attending, and thanks to anyone who may be listening in at a later time. I'd like to extend our special thanks to Trent Hall from the Office of Human Rights and Equity, who has helped make this possible with all the logistics and the running things from behind the scenes. We couldn't have done it without you. I'd also like to thank the Kappa Board Event Committee members, Jin Xu, who we just saw, Ming Du, Yun Lu, Ru Huang, Feng Zhang, Lan Deng, Xia Chen, Bo Xie, Iris Yang, and Jody Wang. And finally, I'd like to thank all participating groups and individuals for their wonderful, wonderful performances today, and the demonstration of just a slice of what Chinese culture has to offer. And lastly, I'd like to mention that to promote the prevention of COVID-19 and the benefits of the COVID-19 vaccines, CAPA and the Howard County Health Department are partnering to create outreach materials to the Chinese community. We will be conducting a survey to understand the special concerns of our community and to invite professionals to address these concerns. Please keep an eye out for the information and materials we will send out in the coming weeks and help us spread that information. Thank you all for your time, and we wish that you remain healthy and safe during this pandemic. Thank you.
Awesome. You did an amazing job as MC, Alexander. Everyone have an amazing night.
Good night.